Dollar Tree has sold for quite a while now. I know last summer I did, I think, a roundup with 10 different wall decal crafts, but I was at my local Dollar Tree the other day and I noticed some new designs or styles that I hadn't seen before, so I decided to whip up a few new crafts. I am no stranger to these leafy wall decals. I used them last year to upcycle some tin cans, and I'm back at it with some Dollar Tree candles this time. So I just grabbed my heat gun and peeled off the stickers. And then from there, I only used one decal on 2 candles. So I just cut it in half and then wrapped it around my candle. You'll see there at the bottom, I left about a 1-inch space, and that's because we're gonna cover the bottom of the candle. So I just used my fine point hot glue gun here. I'll link to it in the video description. It's super handy for these tiny little projects. So you'll see as I'm going around and looping the twine around, about every 1/3 of a rotation, I add just a tiny little dab of hot glue right under the row above it, and then add that next row of twine and keep wrapping all the way around. Once you get started with a few rows of twine, you can kind of space out your hot glue a little bit more until you reach the bottom there. And then make sure that your tail end of the twine, the place where you finish, is kind of where the seam is of the wall decal, where the two ends overlap each other there. But that's it, a super quick and easy candle craft. I made 2 of these using twine at different heights. A really cute candle craft for spring or summer. I have a minor obsession with all things specimen art, so when I saw these butterfly wall decals at Dollar Tree, I knew exactly what I had to do. I had this old frame lying around. I've used it for several different gallery walls and various projects over the years. It's just a thrift store frame. And there's no backing in it, so I just grabbed some foam board from Dollar Tree, used a pen and a ruler and a pen blade or a craft knife to cut it down to size so it fit into my frame. Once I had my poster to the right size, I then covered it with fabric. So I just have this really heavy-duty double-sided permanent tape. I think I just ordered a roll off Amazon. But you just want something kind of heavy-duty and double-sided. I made a border and then an X in the center. After I peeled off all of the paper backing, I then just added some, it's kind of this linen blend type fabric. I got it at Joann's quite a while ago. Drop cloth fabric would be great, but any kind of solid, neutral background fabric would work really well in this project. Smoothed the foam board down, and then I pulled out my rotary cutter and my cutting mat, and I just cut the fabric down to match the size of the foam board. As I'm looking back on this, I'm thinking I could have cut the fabric larger and wrapped it around the edges and pulled it tight. That would have worked well too, and then popped it in the frame, but that's just how I did it at the time. And then I wanted to give my wall decals a more solid backing, so since they kind of have a gold outline, I stuck them onto some gold cardstock scrapbook paper, just so that they wouldn't be as flimsy once I added them to the foam board. But just peeled off all the stickers and stuck them on the paper, and then I just cut them out. And so the reason why I used the gold cardstock is because it matched the outline of all the stickers, so I didn't have to be super duper precise as I cut out all the butterflies. But this took a little bit of time, just kind of cut them all out. And then I popped that foam board back into my picture frame, and since I don't currently own any like professional picture framing tools or supplies or anything, I just secured my foam board right in place with some duct tape. This is just a roll of regular old white duct tape, I think from Hobby Lobby. And so once that foam board was secured in place, I then took a little bit of time and dry fit my butterflies, just kind of arranged them the way I wanted, kind of aimed for more smaller butterflies towards the top and larger butterflies towards the bottom. And then I grabbed more double-sided tape, but this time it was like a foam mounting tape. So it's a little thicker, which will make the butterfly stick up a little bit off of that foam board behind it, giving it more of that legit specimen art feel. And so I just cut a little piece of that foam tape and applied each individual butterfly in place, and that was it. I'm not gonna lie, this project is definitely a lot more colorful than I would normally go on any of my craft projects, but I absolutely love the way that it turned out. These pink flower wall decals from Dollar Tree are not new to me in crafting. I think last time I used them on spaghetti sauce jars, but this time I grabbed a gold little tray. The sticker on the back actually called it a charging plate. Just gave it a quick coat of white spray primer, not even for complete coverage, but just something for my craft paint to stick to. I then gave everything a solid coat of this green chalk paint. This is FolkArt Home Decor chalk paint in the color Antique Green. If you recognize this from a previous video, I also just used this on a dollar store cutting board, a little hanging sign with a white wildflower stencil on it. It's a really fun shade of green. You'll see here I'm spraying it just a little bit with some water, just because sometimes chalk paint gets to be a little thick, especially on the second coat. So if your paint is kind of thickening up or drying out too much, I just give it a spritz of water. So one coat, let it dry. Second coat, let it dry. You should have good coverage there. And then once all of that is completely dried, I just started adding my flower decals. So a whole decal in the center of the tray, followed by partial decals in the corners. So I wasn't the most efficient, I guess, about my cuts here. I tried to use like the corner of the backing sheet to make 90-degree angles with a pen. So when I cut it, the flower sticker would be at a nice 90-degree angle to fit in the corner. But I cut these a little bit larger than I thought I would need to, and then trimmed them down until they were small enough to not overlap over any other stickers. But just 4 little partial pieces in each corner there. And then from there, I just used some light pink chalk paint to kind of distress. Gold would also be a fabulous option on this. And then once everything had completely dried, I just used some clear matte finish spray to protect my surface, but that's it. This would be a great little decorative tray on like a dressing table for jewelry or makeup or perfume, anything like that. All right, this craft is going to be a love it or hate it because I feel like people are in one of two camps about signs in their homes with words, but this is a little floral wall decal from Dollar Tree, and also they have these really long skinny signs. We're just going to use the back, so I just took the hanger off and then used my heat gun to remove the label. This one left a little bit of sticky residue, so I have like a rubber eraser from Dollar Tree. That's great for getting any little bits of adhesive off. And then I just painted everything a light pink to coordinate with the wall decals that I was using. This is DecoArt Acrylic Craft Paint in, I believe, the color Dusty Rose. So just complete paint coverage there. I think I got away with just doing one coat and let it dry, and then just peel off your wall decals and stick them in place. The big one I just centered right on the sign, and then for the smaller ones I cut them out and dry fit them so I knew I had the spacing correct before I put them into place. And then I also coordinated with some other floral wall decals. I thought they looked nice together and they had a similar color palette. So just popped a partial sticker in each of the 4 corners there. And that was it. Super, super quick and easy craft. I then just strung this back up on the original twine hanger, and that was it. The looking wall decals from Dollar Tree looked super fun, so I decided to make some framed wall art with them. Usually around springtime, around graduation time, Dollar Tree has these diploma-size picture frames, but any picture frame will work. Careful there, the hardware on the back isn't the best quality, but I just grabbed some kind of beige tan sand color looking cardstock paper that complemented my wall decals here. And then I kind of just got fun dry fitting everything in place. So I played around with this for a little while. The easiest way to do this is just cut out the wall decals on their paper backing. Don't peel them off just yet, and just start arranging and playing around with the placement until you get something that you like. I tried to use as many of my decals as I could without making my picture frames look too cluttered. But once I had everything arranged the way I wanted it, I just peeled off the paper backing and stuck the decals right in place. And then from there, you just put everything back into the picture frame. These are really nice because they have a glass front or a plexiglass front, and then they're ready to hang up on your walls. And here are all 5 of my finished projects. I do hope you enjoyed watching these dollar store crafts come together. Until next time, happy making!